I don't stand side by side with nobody till I bleed with them first.
What did we just see? You probably think this world is a dream come true.
When I step into this ring, yeah, bro, I am addicted.
Don't sleep on Luca!
Maybe tomorrow we'll all wear 42.
If you fight for your dreams will fight for you.
The last time we were covering the Phillies, we finished off discussing their final game from April 23rd, where they had a win against the Rockies, 9-3, and we were one game off of 500. We looked ahead to the Mariners and Astros series, hoping for the best, hoping to not only to break even, but get a couple games above 500, especially heading into what was going to be a really tough schedule. And we did it. We got above 500. I'm real happy about it. And as you'll come to see, as I'll explain because of the news we learned, I don't think this sort of momentum push could have came at a better time. Like they really started shaping up, and really at the end of April really started coming into their own. A lot of players are doing that. We're still waiting for a couple of players to, find their groove again as well. But, the common theme from last episode to this one is kind of the same thing of, like, a lot of players are really coming into their roles, really rediscovering themselves. The biggest connection from last episode, this one is still Nick Castellanos, as we'll come to see in some of the many games here, just the performances he had. But we're also seeing a lot of people really start coming into their own, and you're just hoping this is a more positive sign, So instead of, rambling through, looking at the stats, looking at the games, I'm kind of just going to summarize. I think this is a better way to do it. But so that first Mariners game, we ended up losing 5-3. That one was a real tough one. Didn't really keep it that close, for the amount of runs they got. We, like, as much as the score makes you think, oh, it was like a 2-run game, and like it really wasn't, because they scored 2 in the 5th, we scored 1 in the 5th. They scored 2 in the 6th, we scored 1. They scored 1 in the 7th, and then we couldn't get things going until the 9th when we scored 1 run, and that was about it. It was a pretty tough loss, especially because instead of being at 500, we were now one game out of 500, I believe, or two games out of 500 at that point because of the loss. And it made me a bit worried, looking into that series, but it's okay because we go into game 2, and it started off terrible. Game 2 started off pretty well. Okay, so it didn't start off terrible, and that's because in the bottom of the first, Nick Castellanos came in and hit a 2-run home run with Bryson Stott on base. Nick Castellanos finding his groove, like I mentioned, with hitting. He's been doing just really good. That's one thing to highlight from all these games is he's been doing really good. He's been finding his swing back. He's really, really nailed down the plate discipline. More often than not, he's not I guess I should really check his stats before saying this, but from watching, in the games that I've watched, I've noticed a lot that he's not really striking out a whole lot, in the sense of compared to last season, how often this man was swinging for the fences essentially. I don't really see that a lot, and I also don't see him going down looking, So he's been doing really well for us, and in this game, he started us off with that. It was real fun to see. But then the game got terrible. Taijuan Walker did really well in that first inning, He struck out Julio Rodriguez. France got a ground out, and then Kelenic struck out Sweeney. Real good inning from Taijuan Walker. And he started off the top of the second real good. Suarez struck out looking. But then Hernandez hits a line out. He walks Cal Riley. AJ Pollock hits a single. So single the third. Okay, yeah. So he was doing good. Strikeout in the lineout, but then he walks Kyle Riley. He AJ Pollock hits a single, so that allows Kyle Riley to go to second. AJ Pollock's on first. He then walks Colton Wong, and that allows for the bases to be full. And he lets up a home run to J.P. Crawford. Grand slam home run. Puts him up 4-0, or no, 4-2. And you're like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And then Julio Rodriguez comes back out again, and he hits a home run until finally he's able to strike out Ty France and end the inning. But an absolute disastrous inning that you just kind of look at and you're like, oh my gosh, what is going on with this guy? It puts us at down 5-2, and you saw, the game before we lost 5-3, so you're already like not being too hopeful. But the team, at least the offense, they come back out and they do their thing where Sosa gets on base, Stott gets on base, and then Kyle Schwarber hits a single that allows Sosa to score. So okay, it's 5-3 now, but they go out. But I gotta give props for as terrible as that second inning was to him, and a bit surprising as it was that they more than likely, it's kind of a good show of sign of faith. They kept Taiwan Walker, and I have to give him credit. He did really well afterwards. He didn't let it phase him too much. As bad of an inning that was, he just came back out, did his thing. Didn't let up a score at any point afterwards until in the top of the fifth inning. Luis Ortiz comes in to take over at pitching. Nick Castellanos would later get a single when Bryson Stott was on base, and that allowed him to score. Oh, and the Stott got to second off a wild pitch. I remember that. The ground out led to him getting to third, which when Castellanos hit the single allowed him to score. And then JT hit a single when Castellanos was on base, and Marsh was also on base, but he hits a single. Castellanos scores. Alec Bohm hits a single. Marsh scores. That puts us up at the bottom of the eighth, and then Jose Alvarado comes in. That's another guy to highlight. He's been absolutely crazy on the season. Like, he has been like the perfect closer, basically, man. It's just so impressive what he's doing right now. Who knows how long it can last, but right now he has a 0.73 ERA. He's finished 5 games. He has 5 saves on the season. Let's see, he's only allowed 6 hits on the season, 1 run, 1 home run allowed. Let's see. Oh, he has no walks. That's like the craziest part. He has no walks, 24 strikeouts. And 43 batters faced. It's real crazy seeing, the stuff that he's doing this season. Now, there's a couple of things he needs to improve on, but, when looking at the games he's had to come into, man, he has done such a great job. He is an absolutely crazy pitcher. The depth is like, the bullpen has been surprisingly doing real well, and that was like the main concern. Like, there obviously improvements can still be made at some points, but it's crazy how at the start of the season everyone was like, oh, that bullpen, you got to worry about the bullpen and all that, and like your depth at pitching. You'll be fine with Nola and Wheeler, and the next we start the season and Nola and Wheeler aren't looking too hot. Now, maybe it's they needed time to adjust, which, the whole theme as I've been saying, they've been getting into their groove just at the right time, and we'll see why it's just at the right time. And that plays into, that doesn't play into our next game yet, because then we go, after beating the Mariners, what day was this? April 26th. This was Wednesday. After beating them 6-1 in that real close game where we came back from behind, especially in that 8th inning, we beat them 1-0 the next day on Thursday. Our only lone run scored in the 2nd inning. This one, not much of a game, only 3 hits on the days for the Mariners. For us, 4 hits. Castellanos was the one that scored. not much, on the day from us. Matt Strahm went 5 innings, did pretty well. Got 5 strikeouts. Anthony Dominguez then came in. Connor Brogdon, Gregory Soto, Craig Kimbrell did really well. The big surprise of this was Mariners pitcher George Kirby. They let him go all 8 innings, and that was pretty crazy. He had 7 strikeouts. Got to give props to him. He did real well. That was shocking to me to see a guy go 8 innings. Until we'll see what happens next, and that is the rematch. The Philadelphia Phillies and the Houston Astros World Series rematch, first time this season. And we're at Houston. And as you remember from the last episode, was a bit worried about this and our upcoming schedule because it's the Astros, the Dodgers, the Red Sox, and the Blue Jays, I think it is. Was real worried about going against the Astros because, as much as we all dislike them, the Astros are still very much a real well put together team and can be scary on any given night. But on this night, we weren't afraid. The highlight of this, Schwarber and Sosa were our 2 main ones. What's it called? Schwarber had an RBI. Sosa scored 2 of the runs. And this was also the game that Christian Pache got injured, which really sucked. Hoping the best recovery for him. Hoping just that it isn't too serious of an injury. But Nola was pitching this game, and I'll use this as a mini rant because Nola was pitching. It's a World Series rematch, and the MLB decides, where this game would look great on? Apple TV. I'm so sick of the MLB at this point with how they distribute their games. It's so annoying. Like, you have the World Series rematch, and you're gonna put it on a service that no one like most people don't have, especially most baseball fans. That's the thing. When you look at your audience, I don't think most of your audience has Apple TV, and if the ones who have it, they're only reluctantly getting it because you keep putting your games on these different streaming sites, networks, and you're making it so difficult to access the game and get new fans. Like, think about all the people who watch the World Series, who only maybe watch the World Series, and think about like some people who are like, oh, that was a pretty fun experience. I want to watch it. I want to start getting more into baseball, and they see this coming up on the schedule. It's the World Series rematch. Nola's pitching that game, and then boom. Oh, you can't watch it. It's not on TV. It's not on the MLB app. You got to go to Apple TV. And then they wonder why so many people use pirated sites to watch these games, because you just keep putting it in inaccessible places. Not everyone has, all this money to distribute to different streaming services just to watch the team they love. And it's pointless anyways because, they're playing the Dodgers and I can't even watch any of the games because it's blacked out because I'm in LA. Rant over though. Main point being, while yes, Schwarber hit a 2-run home run, was it? Or was it just a solo? No. Oh yeah, it was a solo home run. He hits a solo home run to start off this first. Jeremy Pena comes back to hit a home run. Tied 1-1. A lot of people worried about Nola, because it's like, come on, dude, don't be hitting that wall already. It's barely the first inning, And a lot of people were getting worried when he left that home run. Do not be worried. We talk about we're back, people making their returns to the groove. My goodness, man. So, real quickly, I'll highlight the other scores. So, Sosa ended up getting on base, and Pache hit a double to right field, which allowed Sosa to score. Brandon Marsh had to come into to fill his role because I think he got injured sliding in to second base, which was the injury occurred. And also, mini rant part. Whoever was handling the broadcast, what point or need was there to show the Rhys Hoskins injury again? just because one of our other players got injured doesn't mean you have to keep showing us that injury. I don't know what was wrong with those people on the broadcast and Apple TV, but they decided to show Reese Hoskins' preseason injury when it had no relation to anything going on other than the fact that Christian Pache got injured. No reason at all to hurt us like that and show us that, you know. And then Sosa got on base again in the 7th, which allowed Brandon Marsh to hit a single, which allowed Sosa to score. And from there, you know, just held him out. And again, going back to the point of resurgences and people getting back on track, which hopefully we'll see tonight. Aaron Nola went 8 innings. He let up that 1 run and went the rest, you know, good. He struck out 6 people. He had 107 pitches on the night, faced 27 batters. He threw 72 strikes, 11 swinging, 20 looking, 8 ground balls, 13 fly balls. Did pretty well on the night, aside from holding up letting up that lone home run. And like Taijuan Walker in that Mariners game, he didn't let it phase him. He just went in, did real well, and went 8 innings. I was shocked. I am so used to, you know, this is not the hand guy. I have Nola's jersey. I've been rooting for the guy for like the longest time, you know, but I'm also able to accept the criticism and speak, you know, the criticisms on Nola. And the biggest criticism is he can hit that wall sometimes. So you get a bit scared when you see him, especially early in these games, let up a home run. You're just like, oh, come on, dude. It's too early to be laying up those type of runs. But he comes in and be's the ace we know him to be, because he goes those 8 innings. And then to make sure that the game is solidified in the bag, no funny business, we throw in Jose Alvarado to come in, strikes out Dubon, strikes out Pena, and Kyle Tucker hits a ground out. The Phillies win, man. The Phillies win this game, and they break 500. Right? Was this the game they broke 500? Let me see. Yeah, this was the game, because that Thursday game against the Mariners, we got to 500, 13-13. We break 500 here, and then we go into the next game, and again, a bit of a similar thing. Or actually, not so similar. I'm looking over again the box score, because I just wanted to, you know, recheck things. Not a bit of a similar thing, because Nola is not the one who let up, or Nola, what I'm saying, Wheeler was not the one who let up any sort of scores. He went, how many innings did he pitch? He pitched 6 innings. There was 3 hits, but no runs, no earned runs. He threw 7 strikeouts, 104 pitches, 23 batters faced, 69 strikes, 11 swinging, 14 looking, 6 ground balls, 6 fly balls. Real good game from Wheeler. And this was the scoring night for the Phillies, essentially, you know. They just did real well in this game. This one was on MLB TV, so I got to watch it. We got Nick Castellanos hitting a home run. This one, I think, was the one that hit the train, or the train tracks, I think. JT hit a fly ball, which allowed Marsh to score. That put us up 2-0 early. Then Cody Clemens came in and hit a 2-run home run. This was real shocking. Cody Clemens also would end up hitting a home run in the next game, even though we would lose that one. But, you know, he hits a 2-run home run here. I need to double check, actually, if he did hit that home run the other one. I could be wrong. I believe this was also the game, or it may have been in the first game, when, it might have been in the first one, actually. Yeah, I think it was in the first game. I think I forgot to mention it. Castellanos stole a home run. You know, that was a real crazy defensive play, and it's crazy to think that, you know, Castellanos has been making a lot of crazy defensive plays, you know. He's been doing pretty good out there in the outfield. He also had I forget what game it was, but he had a real good sliding catch. And then he had this one where he went to the wall, and he, for the longest time, was like hiding the ball. Like, he was like even an announcer's like, did he catch that? Did he rob the home run? And then he finally pulls out the glove and shows, oh yeah, I caught that. No home run for y'all. Real good play from there. going back to the second game, Wheeler went all that time, like I said, just doing real well. Cody Clemens hit that 2-run home run. Alec Boehm hit a double, which allowed Marsh to score. Then Jake Cave hit a single, which allowed Boehm to score. And then Jeremy Pena came in and hit a home run. So that got the Astros their lone score of the game. But Marte comes in, does pretty well, gets the final strikeouts we need. And we beat the Astros 6-1, 15-13 is our record. Looking pretty good, you know. The next game, obviously, it was a bit of a closer one for the most part. It was a bit of a closer one, you know. It was 4-3. Pitching this game was Bailey Falter. Didn't do that well. By the way, in the last episode when I was trying to be like, oh, I could have swore Falter had a good game, it was actually Matt Strom, I believe it was. I think he was the one that threw 11 Ks in one game, and like in one of the games last week. That was the one I was trying to refer to. Bailey Falter coming to this one, though he had a good game last week. The one that I was mentioning, where he did pretty decent and good. He doesn't have that good of a game here, you know. He let up all 4 of the runs, you know. Just wasn't the best. I mean, JT hit a home run in this game. I guess the positive is that only one of them was a home run, and the other ones were like off of singles and, you know, all this other stuff, but like ground outs and stuff. But it's not what you really wanted to see, you know, from Bailey. Just a bit of a struggle game, and you know, the Phillies tried their best to keep things close, but by the end of it, we end up losing. But you know, we win the series against the Astros, and then because you see the date, or because you see it's Tuesday, you know, Monday happens. It's the Dodger game. Taiwan Walker was pitching this game. Again, didn't get to watch it because blacked out here. And it's not a good one. 13-4. And though the Phillies tried fighting back, it was pointless because, I mean, just look at the box score. The Dodgers scored 1 in the first, 3 in the second, 1 in the third, 3 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, 2 in the seventh, 2 in the eighth. Just absolutely an absolutely crazy game from the Dodgers. You know, you would have thought they were playing in Mexico, the way they were hitting home runs this game and scoring all these runs. Phillies tried their best, but yeah, this one's on Taiwan Walker, who was taken out by the time the 5th inning came around. But then, you know, Vasquez didn't do any better. Kimbrough ended up letting a home run out. Luis Ortiz ended up letting people score still late into the 8th. So, you know, just not the best game from our team. Hoping that today can be better with Nola pitching. Hoping that the whole thing of, oh, you know, guys are coming in at the right time to like their form. You know, hoping this doesn't age badly because of this Dodgers series. But yeah, 13-4 is not what you want to see. But so to close this video off, you know, Nick Castellanos has been doing real well. A lot of guys are really coming into form, you know. Like Nick Castellanos getting into that hitting groove. Nola's looking good. Wheeler's looking good. They're really looking like they're getting back into their form and getting comfortable. Bryson Stott's kind of, you know, he's been struggling a bit after starting the season hot, like hitting wise, but you know, he's still real good at getting on base. Same with Brandon Marsh. You know, Brandon Marsh is real good. He did have that defensive mishap, which also, going back to the Apple TV thing, why are we, no, this wasn't even on Apple TV. This was on the ESPN game. I think it was on Sunday. Why are we interviewing players in the middle of the game? Because we were watching, and because we were at a restaurant, so it didn't have sound, we were like, why are they focusing on Schwarber? And then when I got home, I see they were interviewing Schwarber in the middle of the game. Why are we doing this? Because he ended up being like a bit distracted, and then next thing you know, here comes a hit, and him and Marsh are trying to go get the ball, and you know, Marsh, you know, on a rare defensive mishap, he ends up dropping, you know, well, what was essentially like not necessarily a fly ball, but you know, like that looked like he could have had that. why are we interviewing these players in the middle of games? Like, that's so weird. But still, Marsh is coming into it on, the daycare is still doing really good at getting these hits, getting themselves on base, advancing runners. They're doing real good. You're hoping Trey Turner and Kyle Schwarber can really come into their own hitting. Kyle Schwarber's been doing a bit better, like as we've seen with these past couple games, him getting his home runs. He's doing pretty good. Just hoping for Trey Turner to get hot in time. Rest of the team seems to be doing well. So, yeah, they're really coming to form. And it's the perfect time because as we got the news yesterday, Bryce Harper is making his return today, Tuesday, to be a designated hitter. The man had Tommy John surgery after the end of the season last year. Because he dealt with that injury that kept him from playing in the outfield, and he just kept being dead in here. I'll say it once again. He had Tommy John surgery. It's only been like 100-something days since that surgery. And this man is making his return only 159 days after Tommy John surgery. Two-time MVP Bryce Harper has been cleared to play. And he's going to return in the series against the Dodgers. And I seriously don't know what the lineup is going to look like. But this is going to get crazy. And hopefully with him back, you can hope all these other guys not only continue to be in their groove, but start getting into their groove. Such as Trey Turner. Such as Schwarber, I guess, even though he's been doing pretty good, and he's been what you expect out of him, but this is gonna be crazy, man. Like, I hope I'm not jinxing anything, but this is just crazy. This man is not human, and I don't know, man. This is gonna be a crazy next week of baseball to watch as this man makes his return, and I honestly cannot wait. I'll find some way to watch tonight because I can't miss this man returning, but it's absolutely crazy that he's just going to be back. And the craziest part is I kept saying, this team needs to find a way to stay above 500 and all this, and here they are. I think they're at 500 now because of the two losses. They're at 500, but yeah, they could have done a better job, but they're in the right position for Bryce Harper to come and hopefully propel this team. Who knows though? But I'm gonna remain optimistic, and it's just going to be crazy, man, because you now get to put Harper into a lineup with Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, Nick Castellanos, Brandon Marsh, JT Realmuto, Alec Bohm, Bryson Stott, and Edmundo Sosa. That is who you get to put him in a lineup with. That is going to be a crazy lineup to watch, and I'm here for it, man. I'm here for the return of Bryce Harper.